The pelvic floor is a major muscle group that your body uses throughout your pregnancy and birthing experience. Having a healthy and strong pelvic floor can help avoid many conditions women face after labor. If you are 6 weeks postpartum and you're not sure where to start, this video is for you. By the end of the video, you will know some great exercises that you can do at home today to help you on your way towards a strong pelvic floor. Hi, my name is Kareth Dow Ferguson. I'm a certified pelvic floor physical therapist and the director of the Women's Health Program here at EW Motion Therapy. I see patients on a regular basis that struggle with pelvic floor strength and help them rebuild that connection that is so often lost during pregnancy. Once your doctor has given you the okay to resume your normal exercise routine after birth, you can begin working to strengthen your pelvic floor. I encourage all postpartum women to go get checked out either by your OBGYN or a physical therapist that is certified in pelvic floor physical therapy. These professionals can guide you to ensure that you really are activating the muscles that you think you are as you begin your new exercise routine. The goal of this video is to teach you 6 exercises that you can do at home to reconnect and improve the control of your pelvic floor. So let's begin. With the exercises we're doing today, it's important to know that they very much build on each other. So you want to make sure that you have a good grasp of the initial exercise before you progress to the second, the third, the fourth, and so on. The first exercise we'll be going over today is a simple pelvic floor activation, also known as a Kegel. You will want a towel or blanket to prop your head up on if you need it. If you're comfortable lying flat, that's fine too. The purpose of the pelvic floor activation is to find the connection with pelvic floor. It's a simple contract and relax. We start lying down because that's the easiest position to find your pelvic floor in. So my recommendation is throughout your day, in all your free time when you're just laying down, you need to be doing some pelvic floor activation. When you get up in the morning, when you go to lay down at night, every time the baby goes down for a nap, get down on your back and do 10 to 12 repetitions. So grab your towel or grab your pillow or whatever you need for your head, and let's go ahead and lie down. So to find your pelvic floor activation, there's a couple of cues that can be helpful. The first cue is to think of walking into really cold water, and you will just kind of naturally draw everything up. But what you want to make sure of is that you don't go into a tilt or a tuck. Your glutes are very quiet during the pelvic floor activation. So think about walking into cold water and just draw up and in. See if you can find it there. And then let it go. Draw up and in. Let it go. Another cue is to think about you really have to go to the restroom. You really have to pee, but you just can't right now. And so you've got to hold it in. Try to find it that way. So try to hold in when you have to use the restroom and then let it go. Try to hold it in and then let it go. The last cue that can be helpful is to think about your sits bones, those bones you feel when you're sitting down. Maybe find them on yourself right now. And then I want you to think about drawing them up and in, and then let them go. Try to draw those sits bones up and in, and then let them go. You may feel some deep belly on this, that's fine. You will also feel a little bit of glute work, but it's not them clenching together. The next exercise is called a pelvic clock. You need to view your deep belly as kind of the front of the pelvic floor. It's just as important as the bowl part of your pelvic floor. So go ahead and lie down on your back and imagine belly button is 12 o'clock, pubic bone is 6 o'clock, and your hip bones are 3 and 9. And you've got a little marble. And I want you to think about rolling that marble to 12 o'clock and roll that marble to 6 o'clock. And you're using it not from doing just your back or your glutes like this. You're really thinking about zipping up that deep line. You're working from deep in belly to get to 12 o'clock. And then I imagine actually pushing my pubic bone down into the ground for 6 o'clock. So you're still working. So you go 12 to 6, 12 to 6. And now let's go 3 to 9. So to go from 3 to 9, I imagine that there's 2 strings going through my hip bones, and somebody's below me pulling one hip bone down to get that marble to 3 o'clock, and then I'm pulling my other hip bone down to get to 9 o'clock. So that 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. I like to do 10 or 12 reps of all of these. But really what I want you to do is I want you to practice it, and when you feel like you have found it, do a few more. And then we go all the way around the clock. 12, 3, 6, 9. And do that a few times. 12, 3, 6, 9. You can think of a diamond. You can think of rolling that marble around. You can think of a hula hoop, whatever helps you connect to that deep belly. This is not a fast exercise. You go nice and slow so you can really find that connection to deep belly. After you've done a few that way, go ahead and reverse. So now go 12, 9, 6, 3, and do that a few times. Check in, neck and shoulders are relaxed. Your glutes are working, but again, they're not clenched. You have no pain in the low back. You're just feeling good work in that deep belly. So now that you have found your pelvic floor activation, we're going to make it a little more complex, because that's how you strengthen and improve your control of pelvic floor, is you add layers of complexity to it. So what we're going to do first is we're going to add breath. So I want you just to take a few deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And now on your next inhale, I want you to find activation. And on your exhale, let it go. So on your inhale, you're activating pelvic floor, and on your exhale, you're letting it go. You're relaxing pelvic floor. You're going to do a few breaths this way. Maybe hit the pause button, and then I want you to reverse your breath. So now you're going to, on your first inhale, don't think about anything. Just take a good deep inhale. And on your exhale, I want you to find pelvic floor. So exhale, blow out, and find that activation. On your inhale, let it go or relax. On the inhale, you can think of like you're filling up that pelvic floor, so you've got to let that bowl open up. On your exhale, you're pushing through deep belly and finding that drawing up and in. Do a few this way. If you want to make it even more complex, start flip-flopping which breath sequence you perform. I would do 5 or 10 of each, but again, what's more important isn't the number you do, but that you find the activation and you find the relaxation consistently. So now you have found pelvic floor activation. You have found it with breath, with both breathing sequences. So let's add another layer of complexity to it and add more movement. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add it with a bridge. So first, just perform a few bridges, which is tightening belly, finding maybe a little bit of 12 o'clock, tightening through the glutes, lifting up, keeping ribs over pelvis, and then on your exhale, lower yourself back down, vertebrae by vertebrae. So you can do a few of those to warm up. And then when you're ready, I want you to add a Kegel. So before you lift up, I want you to find pelvic floor, hold it as you raise up into your bridge, check in at the top. Do you still have pelvic floor? If you've let it go, that's okay. If not, lower back down, keeping that pelvic floor turned on. And then at the bottom, let everything go. If you can only hold it halfway up, start there. Do a few reps of finding pelvic floor, draw up and in, lift. You can let it go at the top, lower back down, and work your way to holding that pelvic floor activation through the whole bridge movement. So now you've mastered finding pelvic floor while you're lying on your back. So now we're going to change gravity and change positioning to find pelvic floor. So now that you're sitting, you can think about that pelvic floor is now full and you've got gravity pulling against it. So finding that activation is going to require a little more concentration and a little more effort. It's the same cues we did lying on our back. You can think about drawing up and in the sits bones. You can think about you're putting your toe in cold water and you draw up and in. You will feel more deep belly finding pelvic floor in sitting, but just take a few moments and try to find that activation in sitting and then let it go. Find the activation and let it go. Red lights are a great time to do this exercise. You know you're going to hit a ton of red lights every day while you're in your car, so go ahead and knock out your pelvic floor exercise then. The next exercise will be finding pelvic floor with or without breath sequence on hands and knees. It's important to activate pelvic floor and find your pelvic floor in different positions because gravity and pelvic position definitely play a role. So we start on hands and knees. I want you to start out just finding your pelvic floor. That alone can feel like you're just starting over almost. New position, new pelvic position, new gravity. So just find that activation and let it go. Find the activation and let it go. If you want, you can add in a breath sequence. Activate on the inhale. Let it go on the exhale. Activate on the inhale. Let it go on the exhale. Do that for a few breaths and then reverse your breath sequence. See if you can find it just as easily there. So on your first inhale, don't think about anything. And then on your exhale, find pelvic floor. On your inhale, let it go. Shoot for 5 or 10 of each breath sequence, but again, it's just important that you find the activation in the movement. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this video has helped you understand a few exercises that you can do right now to start working on your pelvic floor strength today. Remember, the pelvic floor is not like other muscles in your body where you can see the movement. These muscles are internal. That is why it is so important to get checked by a professional with the right credentials, so that they can make sure that you are activating the right things while you are going through the exercises. If you want more information about the importance of pelvic floor strength, click the link in the description below to check out our Learning Center and read related articles. Or if you live in the Birmingham or surrounding areas, check out our pelvic floor program page to make an appointment with one of our certified physical therapists. I hope you have a great day.